The contents of this show are for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Any information on the show does not create a client-therapist relationship and should not be taken as professional advice. Before making any decisions regarding your healthcare, ask your personal physician or mental health care professional, or call 911 for any emergencies.
We are three friends exploring connection, from the coffee shop to the podcast studio. I'm Amy.
I'm Anna.
I'm Erin.
Hey, Anna.
Yeah?
You know Erin's a pretty badass therapist, right?
I totally know. I just take notes when she's talking.
Me too. Some of our audience does as well. So did you know that there's also a place that you can get information directly from her?
On her website, right?
Yeah. And didn't you do it?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so there's all these free workshops that they're offering, and at thekaliinstitute.com, you can sign up for those. Kali is how you spell Kali, and then Institute, thekaliinstitute.com.
Get it done.
Hey.
Hey, everybody.
Give another clap, baby.
You like that?
Is this clap corner?
Yeah, she's so stoked about life.
Life is good.
I like when you're singing. Life is good today.
Hell yeah.
Day at a time. It's a good one.
We're taking it.
Yes.
Run with it.
Totally. Totally. So, welcome back. Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Episode 4.
Yeah.
That's
This
crazy.
is a big one.
You're right.
Okay,
a big
listeners. How many of you have noticed how many times we say
It's a big one.
yes? Because we sure have.
Right.
I'm like, there it is again. It's almost like a twitch or a tick.
Yeah.
You know, I think we all, doing this podcast and stuff, I've really noticed how, I have these verbal ticks. And, it's like, what? I said, holy cow again. Really? That's my go-to?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
What?
I've heard myself have some really strange laughter. Ooh.
You know what the good news
Not
is?
good.
You're literally the only one who's probably noticing that.
I hope so.
Because it's I feel like we're, at least for myself, I'm the biggest critic.
Yes.
It's
always,
right? Nobody
Absolutely.
else is noticing. And if they are, whatever.
Yeah.
Talk to your therapist about it if it bothers you. That's my new go-to. You're going to have to talk to your therapist about that.
I think people love to hear that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mom, that's something to, talk
should
to
probably
talk to your
therapist about.
Super understanding.
Anna has an increase of eye rolls in her life.
Yeah, right. Well, we, instead of being critical, we're going to focus on some real positivity coming at us.
Oh, yeah.
Heyo.
We've got a great review this morning.
Hey, Ray, look at that transition. You're bro.
Oh,
Thank you.
Your segues are
Yeah.
Spot on. I'm working on them.
Did you Google this? How to do segues? Because it's that good.
No.
But I do think about it a lot.
Well, there
Yeah.
you go.
that's right.
I do.
Amy daydreams about segways.
Yeah. You're all
That's about as exciting as my life is. Yep,
You remember
that's
those
right.
segways that people used to drive?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I
yes.
just popped in my head.
You could
Amy thinking about the Segway
On a
with the
Segway?
helmet and a thing, and I'm like, oh, that's driving around the mall.
How are those things literally the dorkiest things ever?
I don't know, but you can still take Segway tours in a lot of different cities.
For real?
I always just
yeah.
think they just seem like the ultimate dorkiness.
Agreed.
I mean, I've never been on one. I'm sure I would thoroughly enjoy it.
To each his own.
But you're all not me. You're all, I'm not a dork like that. But
Actually, I would go on a Segway tour.
just with the helmets.
You know
what?
I would.
Amy's kind of a nerd.
It makes me think of I think because the posture is so perfect and they have the helmets and they're just scooting along in a row.
Yes, I love
It just is the ultimate do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's they're little ducks in a row.
There's the reason that Mall Cop, wasn't there a Mall Cop movie? And that
Paul Blart.
And he rode a Segway in the mall.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Am
why
I
I said
right?
in the mall. Yeah. In the mall.
Yes.
So, I mean.
Maybe we
that's
don't want to
true.
do that in the mall. But around
Right.
town,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's scooters, bikes.
Scooters.
Those are fun.
Yeah, but I think there's a ton of accidents happening. And
Oh,
now
yeah.
there's a big
I'm
war
sure.
happening.
You know what I saw?
There's a big war between bikes and scooters.
Yes.
And like who has the right of way in the bike lanes.
Oh.
Like there's it's I read it in some
Oh.
local newspaper.
Well, I think there's a ton of accidents on the scooters because a lot of people are wasted when they're on the scooters.
And
You know what
the
I've seen?
slightest little bump or
Yeah.
hole in the
Right.
street can send you flying.
Right.
My kids could tell you a real good story about that happening to me just 2 years ago.
Oh.
I flew. I was going so fast on this scooter. I was kind
I
of racing.
vaguely remember this.
Yes,
You
one
were
of my
racing
kids.
and being
I know.
competitive?
I know. Imagine
Shocking.
that.
Here, I will win.
Yes. But I was going so fast on the scooter and hit a significant hole in the
Oh,
sidewalk. The thing
Catapulted.
Catapulted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I came to a dead stop and I did not.
Oh, wow.
It
wow.
hurt.
You know what I've been seeing? So
Then I had to pretend like I didn't really hurt.
here, I'm good.
I'm so tough. I'm so tough.
So I live on this busy street. Well, it's like a busy neighborhood street, like with bus lines and lots of bike traffic and just people all the time moving in front of our house. And there, I have seen multiple times with people on these scooters, like, and their dogs running. In one day, I saw this twice, like within a half hour, and like at the exact same spot of these two separate guys, like running their dogs
Yes.
with the scooter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They both fell off. Fell off the scooter at the same spot.
Okay, that is like the type of humor for me I absolutely love. Which isn't always
slapstick.
very kind.
Right.
Total slapstick. But honestly, you could record that stuff. You could just set up a camera and have, I mean, if
I was like,
especially if
these
it's in the same
dum-dums.
spot.
They have
So funny.
There's a thing on Instagram called the Jerry of the Day. And it is like a lot of ski incidents. It's
Oh, I gotta watch
it
this.
is so
I didn't know.
funny.
I did not know you like slapstick so much.
Me? Oh, okay. So, truth be told, I have watched a number of people, just for whatever reason throughout my life, run at full speed into a sliding glass door.
Oh,
I have seen
I
that.
have tried so hard to maintain like composure. I can't. I don't know. I think some of that stuff is like when people trip or when I trip or I mean, I just can't help myself.
That's
It's
funny.
like I have a very childish sense of humor. What you gonna do?
well,
Hey.
you're gonna laugh at him.
And you know
That's
what else
you're
we're gonna do?
do.
We're gonna read this review.
Oh yeah! Wow! I
I was
we're
like,
just talking
I'm like,
about.
how are we gonna get back to that?
Here we go.
I totally forgot about it.
So now I'm gonna say
Focus.
stop.
Focus.
Here we go.
Okay.
This is from The Air Project. Thank you so much, The Air Project, for leaving this review. And the title of it is The Chemistry. It's 5 stars, and it says, these women have amazing chemistry. It felt like I was hanging out with my friends without having to hang out with my friends. Which is exactly what I want to do sometimes. LOL. I'm for sure going to stay subscribed.
I love
That's awesome.
Oh my
Thank you,
gosh.
The Air Project.
Yes, there, Project. High
That is
fives.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That is
and
hilarious.
we hope, and feel free to call us. Even if you don't want to, you might want to sometime.
Yeah.
Right? On the voicemail.
Yep.
Do you have that number? Because I was not prepared for you to say that.
I know.
I can get
know.
it. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, right now we're going to give it out again? Yeah. But
Yeah,
where else?
nobody
It's
has
also
it.
like all over our website.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
the number is 775-591-8860.
You are
so professional.
Wow. Have you been practicing?
No, not like Amy.
Wow, because that was really good.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Way
Wholehearted.
to go. You've got another career coming your way, Aaron.
Yep. Okay, come on.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so.
Okay, so then the next question
Yeah.
we asked Maria Seal, we asked her, would you rather be a centaur or a mermaid? And Amy was very enthusiastic about this.
I was.
She's like,
Hands down, centaur.
okay, which is so crazy to me because I was like, hands down, mermaid.
Aaron?
I don't know. I don't think I ever wanted to be either.
Oh, gosh.
What? How can you not want to be a centaur with how much you love to run?
Oh, gosh, that's a really good point.
Yeah. So
I mean, you
good
could
point.
run really fast.
What do you got for me?
Oh,
Why would
you
I
could-
want to be a mermaid, Anna?
Well,
and also centaurs are very strong.
Okay, that's good.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm going.
Mermaids, you're stuck underwater.
Oh, but there's a whole world under there.
It's
Hello,
a whole new world.
hello, Splash. Did anybody else? Like, I was literally a mermaid when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean,
Final answer, centaur.
More clapping for this episode.
Wow.
clapping corner.
It's a good one. So who knows where these questions will lead us?
Yeah.
But I would say maybe we'll ask the centaur mermaid question again, or maybe we'll ask something completely
There are
random.
so many good questions.
If you
So
have
many.
questions that you want us to ask,
Yes.
random ones, send them in on any of the social media platforms, or you can call and ask, and we can play it for
Yeah.
the person.
Yeah.
And we have some interviews coming up with, business owners, people in charge of like kid projects. We have episodes with someone from Bachelor Nation.
Mhm.
We have
Just the most beloved bachelor of all time.
We have authors coming on. So think about your questions that
Yeah,
maybe
and
you
also-
want us to ask them.
Yeah, and also, if there's anyone you want us to interview, let us know. So, like, what we're doing is we're looking for people that have interesting angles on connection in some way, shape, or form. So,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a great idea.
yeah.
Send in your dreams, your dream peeps.
Yeah.
We've got our list. So
Yep.
we'd love to add yours to our...
And we're just going to keep pestering these mofos until they're on. We're like, hello, Brene Brown. Hi, it's us
we
again.
still want to interview you.
Hey, Oprah, what's up?
All right. So we had an amazing guest, speaking of guests,
Yeah.
on our last episode. And
Maria Seal.
Maria Seal.
She's great.
Yeah, mariaseal.com.
Yeah. And that was really such another great story.
Mhm.
And also to see how I would say like her childhood really led to her achievement.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the good she's doing for the
Mhm.
world.
Yeah.
And just like what an awesome array of tools in the 52 list series.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, it's so cool because I had like one idea about why I wanted her to be on the show.
yeah.
And then it totally flipped it.
Yeah.
It was like, wait, she's so much more interesting than I even realized.
Yes.
And like, it's so incredibly insightful and
Mhm.
just Nuggetville. It
Yeah.
was like,
nuggets,
oh, it was
insightful
just like,
nuggets all over.
wow.
Yeah.
Like you can tell she's done a lot of work on herself.
Mhm.
And it was just wonderful to be able to
Yeah.
connect with her.
Yeah.
It really
you know,
was.
like, yeah. And so
Yeah.
we hope you all found it as awesome as we did. So we're going to talk about.
And we hope that you all support Maria just,
Because
through
she's
her.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
totally.
a woman, small owned business. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and if you're in Seattle, check out that beautiful storefront.
Oh, it is so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh my gosh. It's awesome.
So gorgeous.
So with that, we found a bunch of really interesting topics related to connection from our conversation with her.
hmm
And, one of them is religion, what's our own connection to religion. And then we just have a list of things. So I think we'll probably just kind of free flow this conversation. And
Free ball in it.
Yeah, keep going.
Yep,
So.
free balling it. Anna.
I said that just for you.
I couldn't let that slide.
No.
That's good.
Nope. At first I thought,
I just say
I
things to
know.
like.
oh, we do.
Oh, I
Yes.
do. Yeah,
We have it recorded.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. So what about it? Aaron, what about you? Religion and maybe like childhood or like
Sure.
how were you raised?
grew up in, my mother actually was going to be, so I'm the youngest of 5, talked about before. And my mother, at some point, she was in the convent. And I don't know if she met my dad while she was in the convent or afterwards. And then she's clearly not a nun because she had 5 kids. So there's that. So I grew up
The
in
nun with 5 kids.
That's right. The nun with 5 kids. That's a big ass scandal.
Awkward.
Right.
Can you
Right.
become a nun like after you have kids?
I
Like if you're
I
like
bet.
an older, like say you had grown children.
It's a good question.
Could you?
That's
My
a
mother would
really
know the
good
answer
question.
to that.
We gotta ask your
Yes,
mom.
right. I'll ask her. So we grew up in a religion was really, the Catholic Church was super important to my mom growing up and was like pivotal to her, like anchoring her. And so I went to Catholic elementary school, middle through high school wasn't, then I went to a Catholic college, and it was very much, I mean, we were at church every week, all the very Catholic household. And then after I graduated from college, I volunteered with the Vincentian Volunteers in England. And so I lived in Liverpool for a year. And so we lived in a community of 3 people. So it was me, a kid from England. Hold on.
Huge community.
Hold on. I'm getting, my community was 3. You didn't let me finish.
Sorry.
Right, so I lived with
The worst community ever.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I lived with a kid from England. I lived with someone from Slovakia, myself. And then there was 4 other houses with 3 or 4 members of the community.
Okay.
And so
I was like, that's a teeny
Wait,
one.
was the community a church?
no, like we lived in the same house.
Yeah.
And then everyone would live in different cities. So we were in Liverpool.
Oh.
There was one
Oh.
in Manchester, one in Birkenhead, which is across the river from Liverpool, and then one in London.
Mm.
And so we would come together like once a month to do these trips. And so I remember there was one, so I didn't know where I stood with religious stuff, but then there was one experience that I had. And so it was a faith like weekend where we went to see all these different types of faith. And so we met in Manchester, and it was, we went to a Catholic church, obviously, and then we went to a Buddhist temple. We went to a Jewish temple. We went to a mosque, and we went to a Sikh temple, or a synagogue, not a temple. Sorry for the Jewish. And so it was super interesting because it was right when, I don't know what the man's name was, but it was the Hamas leader that had been assassinated, and he was the leader that was in a wheelchair. And so there was a huge, outside the synagogue, there was a massive riot of things. And so I remember going into that, one of the members of the community was from Indonesia, which is a highly populated Muslim country, and they almost didn't let her into the service because they were scared about what was happening outside. So it was really, I'd never been that upfront with everything, but it was an amazing experience to be welcomed into every single one of the communities and to find out, like, from the people that are worshiping in those ways, like what that was like. And then we processed afterwards, and the thing I got out of it, so we're like processing in our larger group. So there's like 15 of us, maybe 20 of us. And so the woman that was leading, she says to me, she's like, well, what did you all learn from the trip? And I was like, this is amazing. Like, I love to see, I'm super interested in what kind of faith people have and what they do to celebrate that. And I was like, and I learned that I think everyone's kind of doing the same thing. And she told me that I was wrong.
Oh.
She told me that I was wrong, and that pretty much like the Catholic way was the only way. And so that was like a very defining moment for me, because I don't believe that. I think everyone can express that in whatever way feels good for them. And so then I just went on kind of like a journey of, what does this all mean? And then it just wasn't lining up and wasn't fitting. So then what happened? And then at some point I stopped going to church. I talked to my mom this week, and she was like, has had some health issues, so she hasn't gone to church in 8 weeks. And I was like, well, I don't think I've been to church in 8 years. And she was like, well, I don't even understand that still. And I'm like, okay, well, we're not getting into this. But then I have found that being spiritually connected in some sort of way is super important to me. And I will often say, like, I wish that I had a faith community that felt good and that felt right, not even good, like in alignment with myself, but I haven't been able to find that.
Are you actively searching?
No,
for
I
that,
just I was
or-
for a while,
Oh,
but I
okay.
have not.
I was going to say, I haven't heard about that.
No. But it was a process for a while. And so, but I just don't really I like the actual structure of church, but I don't really like all the things that go with the people at church. So then that was kind of my path. So I grew up super Catholic, and then now I think that being connected, so nature, like when I'm on my long runs, feels very, very important to me, and feeling connected and grounded. Because if I am in my best self and connected to the ground and something bigger than us, then so it's more of like the universe or source or spirit or whatever. Yeah, that is where it is for me.
Cool.
How about you all?
Well, so I was also raised Catholic, so I can relate to a lot of the things you said. And like, I just remember, so my mom was the main driver of raising us Catholic. And at the time when I was a child, I got the sense that she wasn't too into it. And as an adult, she's slowly gotten more and more very enthusiastic about it. But yeah, we went to church every single Sunday. We did the Sunday school at night. I did the confirmation and all of that stuff when I was 16. I went to a Catholic high school for 2 years, and it was just a huge part of my upbringing. And while I don't relate to it today for multiple reasons, mainly that it doesn't resonate with me and feel like true for me, I am very happy that I was raised with a religion. I sound sick, don't I?
I have a little bit of the same for whatever reason.
Got a frog in my throat. But like, I'm glad that I was raised with a religion so that this idea of a higher power or spiritual connection is not so abstract to me or so foreign that I can't accept it as something that I just simply can't accept it. So because of my upbringing, I can accept a spiritual existence and one that like resonates with me. So like when I was in my late 20s, I had someone help me create a prayer, actually. And it was one of the most powerful things I had ever done. Mainly... Oh gosh, sorry.
We lost
Jesus
her.
is in her throat.
Jesus is like blasphemy. Which brings me to I could not believe that we were making our own prayer. I was like, what? This is so against the rules. I love it.
Anna's a rebel.
Yeah, I might be a little bit. So, like, just to make a prayer, that was completely foreign to me that was even possible. I love that I can make one that actually meant something to me. And it was the first time that I started separating the idea of religion and spirituality, and the idea that those two things are not necessarily the same at all, and you can have one without the other. So that was, and I can really relate to a lot of the things you said, Erin, about like the nature connection. Mm-hmm. Like I remember camping in Moab, and we were right along the river, and it was so beautiful, and the sun would set and the sun would rise along these huge red rocks. And I just remember being in awe and just thinking, I don't know what the hell there is out there, but it's bigger than me, and I am totally okay with that. Like, I am open to what I'm meant to do in this world, and I'm open to this energy. And at that moment, nature was my higher power, and like those red rocks and just that beauty, and just being in that moment and being in awe of the wonders of the world, I guess. And it was just like a super spiritual experience to just say, this is not created by a human force, and it's bigger than me, way bigger than me. And the other thing that I can relate to about what you said is the religion class. So in high school, when I had those 2 years at that Catholic high school, I was in a religion class. That's like one of their things, Catholic religion class. But I remember thinking, gosh, it would be so great if we could learn, like, this is a religion class. Why don't we learn about all the religions that are out there? Yeah, no, it just wasn't happening. But I just remember thinking, like, what if we had the knowledge and then we actively chose Catholicism because that's something that we truly felt resonated most with us? Like, that's what made sense to me as a high schooler. It still makes sense to me.
I go to Cost Cutter, so there's that. But like my hairstylist there, I've seen her for 15 years now. But she's an adult, obviously, and she went in that process, which I admire so much, because it's like she was like, no, this is the thing that fits for me. And so it was like Easter, and I was getting my hair cut. And she was like, oh, I'm getting baptized, because she's gone through the whole like catechism class, which was awesome, because then it's like, oh, you chose that, and this is the thing that lines up for you. Yeah. I admire when people can choose that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, super cool. So, I mean, my connection with my religion or spirituality has definitely been complicated, mostly because I've let other people's expectations of how that should look really impact me and my feelings. And once I let go of that and said, ultimately I have to, and I want to have a connection to my spiritual life in a way that actually is true to me and resonates with me, that's when I started having the most growth in that area, I should say. And then when a certain person, my mom, brings it up. I just, we try to not talk about it because we have differing opinions. And the craziest thing about this is that we both believe in a higher power. She hates that word when I use it. But my idea, because I don't practice Catholicism, it's not good enough. And so hopefully it's okay that, I'm going to have to give her a heads up that I said that. But it's not like a private thing. But she didn't go to my wedding or my siblings' weddings because they weren't in the Catholic Church. And she's hardcore. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to ask you, Erin, so your family's Catholic. Do they have crushes on the priest? Because my mom and my aunt and my grandma, they always had crushes on the priest throughout. I just remember oh, priest, blah, blah, blah. So cute.
My mom was friends with all of them. And so they were at our house for dinner or whatever. Yeah. And so I remember them being around a lot, but they were...
But it wasn't a googly eye?
No.
Oh, that's totally my aunts. And it was just my grandma, just Father so-and-so, so cute, just adorable. Anyway.
Right. When you were talking about Catholic school, it made me think when I was in 4th grade, I got a D in religion. It was awful because the Monsignor from the church gave out the report cards. And he was like, well, we got to improve this a little bit in front of the whole class. It was terrible. Oh, my God. It makes me laugh. It's not but I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh, funny.
I was like, religion class. I forgot about that till now. Sorry, Monsignor. Sorry. Get a D. Right.
Oh, one other funny thing. My mom, she loves... So Catholicism and guilt is they go hand in hand.
My mom said that was part of the conversation the other night when we were talking about that. And I was like, oh, you never forget that guilt. And she had a belly laugh so hard.
It's such a part of it. Yeah. And so this hilarious text, she didn't mean for it to be hilarious, but on Christmas Eve, she sends us a text to me and my siblings and my immediate family were visiting my parents for Christmas, and she sends a text to all of us and she goes, me and Jesus would really like to see you at church tonight. And we're like, oh, Mom.
Oh, that sounds like something my mom would do.
Same with mine. That's awesome.
I was like,
that is a great mom nugget right there.
I was like, tell Jesus I said, what's up?
A baby boomer mom nugget. That's it.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
What about you, Amy?
Me and Jesus would like to see you in church tonight.
That's good.
Oh, and she also says that when we all die, she wants me to be Catholic because she wants us to all be in heaven together.
Yeah.
So, she's
From
coming...
a mom's perspective, I get that.
I get it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, this guilt thing. Hashtag guilt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Shit, going in hot, lady.
Yeah.
Well, I just want us to all be in heaven together.
Right. Oh, you're like,
well, I can't follow you
go.
for that.
Yeah.
I gotta peace out here.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, Amy, what about you?
So, as an adult, I have been more intrigued with the Catholic Church.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, I don't know why. I went to Rome in, when was that? 2018, 2017? Yes, November of 2017. And saw the Vatican and saw just the Catholic Church as this thing I have never known it to be. So I did not grow up with the Catholic Church. I did not. I knew friends so we had this situation in junior high where there was a Catholic school just a block away from the public junior high. And so the kids from the Catholic school, they would sometimes come down and do PE with us or other non-core subjects. And one of my really good friends still today, she was at the Catholic Church. And, it was just this thing where, the Catholic school kids or whatever. And then, us regular ones. Whatever that is.
You devil children.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but anyway, I just never was exposed to the Catholic Church much at all. I was raised. Oh, and I got to say, as an adult too, the thing with the Catholic Church is I do like tradition.
Okay.
Holidays are one of, I love holidays for the most part. They're also almost equally as difficult as they are something really enjoyable for me, but I love the traditions in them. And I feel with the Catholic Church, it's so strong on tradition
and ritual.
And ritual and Like, I've always been so intrigued by those confession booths.
Oh.
Like, whoa.
So we were, I have to say, and so we're talking about this episode before we started recording, and we're in the studio, and I was sitting on the floor, and Amy and Aaron. This is today, right before, which is funny that we're talking about this.
Yes.
But so there was these chairs in here that have this mesh backing, and it's got like 2 layers of mesh. And I was like looking at Aaron. I was on the floor, and they were in the chairs.
Hard to make eye contact when this is happening. Yeah.
Yes.
Super hard. So I was looking at her through the mesh. It was totally a confessional moment.
Totally.
We both had like flashbacks.
Both of you went straight to something I've never seen either of you do before. Anna was like, "Oh, confessional," and Aaron, you were like, "I don't even know what you said, but something about." I don't know, some prayer, and then you're like, it was just kind of like,
Father, for I have sinned.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It was automatic.
Yes.
So obviously a very familiar thing to both of you.
Yeah. And so really quick on this confessional topic, I also in my late 20s talked to someone who actually it's the same person who helped me create the prayer. And so she had experience with Catholicism as well. And she said something that she doesn't think is conveyed to the children going through this confessional process, and she has done this with her own children, is she said, your sins are literally wiped clean. Like you are, oh gosh.
Anna's excited about this. The sins are wiped clean, and my coffee is all over the table. That's okay.
But she was just telling me this story that she was telling these children of like, you have a clean slate after this. And that was something that was also very powerful of like, this is the purpose of this, to have a clean slate, to start fresh, and you are literally forgiven. So, I mean, that's a positive spin on it.
I think it's a really interesting, the ideas behind so much of any religion are good. And then I feel like people, and especially people who have like, they do weird things when they're in a position of power.
Yeah.
They just screw it all up.
But I was reading something, Richard Rohr is like a respected figure, and he is a Catholic priest. And so he was writing something about like what the confessional is, and I don't have the words around that, and I was like, oh, and what like sin was. And then when he explained it in that way, I'm like, I wish someone from the beginning would have talked to me about like that it's just like the human condition. I think that he talked about, and then we act out of like the human condition or like from our wounds, and that's it. And so like more of like a loving and forgiving way. I think that it's interesting that like how I perceived that as a kid was not from a place of compassion, which is like it's all of what Christianity is.
It
love
was all
and compassion.
from like shame.
Yes, and so that's the way that I received it. I hope that others do not have that experience. But like if that was how I was like brought up in that way, then it would have been. Then I think that I would be in a different spot.
Yeah. So I think for me, so I was raised also very religious, but more in that loving way. So it was the Presbyterian church and Lutheran here and there, but primarily Presbyterian. And I was confirmed in the, Presbyterian church. And what I remember from that is mostly a really strong community. So my parents had a ton of friends.
Of three?
Stupid.
My parents had so many friends in the church, and we had family friends that were like sharing. Oh, man. Erin's holding up a piece of paper so she doesn't look at Anna. Anyway, but I feel like that to me, that's kind of what church was, is church was friends. So church was, especially as a kid, like a really little girl, I remember that there were a lot of older girls who were in, Sunday school or confirmation, and I really looked up to them. And some of them would take part in the church services, reading from the Bible or whatever. And I don't know, I just always thought like that was one of my things. And I loved it when I was really little. I loved going to church, Sunday school, whatever. But then in my teenage years, when my rebellion kicked in, definitely 15 for sure, maybe a little bit before that. But I remember I was in confirmation at a Presbyterian church in the current place I was living. And we had this youth minister who was not like anyone I had met before in a church. He was really into like questioning everything.
Mm.
So he really encouraged us to question. And I
That's
had
cool.
a ton of friends in confirmation,
Mhm.
and it was just fun because we got to hang out,
Mm.
and like sometimes we'd cause trouble before or after, but then we'd get together. You know, it was just like not. It was way more about the exploration of religion and faith than anything.
That's cool.
But I almost think like it ended up like leading me the other way. You know, like I was just like, oh, okay, I'm not really into this. And then I started seeing the hypocrisy of it all. And like, you know, we were a family who would go every Sunday no matter what. And then every Wednesday no matter what. And then, you know, I mean, holidays, what it was just like, you don't miss church. You know, you go every week multiple times. And then I just was very, very aware of hypocrisy, like things that we were supposedly as a family, like trying to portray, you know, in like different parts of the religion, I feel like, or like, but it just wasn't, it did not line up whatsoever. That's how I felt.
Well, and it goes back to that idea of like, you know, validating kids' feelings and kind of like respecting them as like, don't treat them like dum-dums because they totally know what's going on and they're picking it up. And it's like, you know, I remember just like you said, like of seeing that disconnect, and it's like, you're saying this, that doesn't
like
resonate.
love and forgiveness, but then like there's a whole group of the population that you don't actually love nor accept nor forget, you know, and it's just like,
how does that work? How does that make sense?
Yeah. But it's also been really interesting to see my mom's faith and religion evolve over time. And she's just become more and more open and definitely just a different approach, which has been nice, you know, for me, because I feel like we've in a strange way kind of come together almost or like able to talk about spirituality.
That's cool.
More than we ever had before. So super interesting. But yeah, so I would say funny fact. So we would do these retreats, confirmation.
I love funny facts.
Oh man. So this one, I went on this retreat and we thought it was a good idea to pierce our ears on the retreat. So we found a needle, ice cubes, and I ended up
Infectionville.
Yeah. So I had one piercing on each ear, and then I added 2 more on one ear. And and then like my friends, they also like we pierced. I don't even know how many ears we pierced that weekend. But I went home and my mom was like,
Yeah,
Amy,
we are open for business.
yeah, she was like, Amy Elizabeth, what did you do now? And I said, well, I pierced my ears, but don't worry, Mom, it's 3 in 1. Like the Holy Spirit, the God, the Father.
Did you think of that on the spot? Or was that intentional?
That was absolutely not intentional, but I thought it was a great excuse.
Oh, yeah.
For all of my new ear piercings.
It's a Trinity, Mom.
Yeah.
3 in 1. Oh, my God.
So I had those pierced for a while. I might redo them.
Yeah.
I had them redone recently, but you know. Yeah.
What we used to do in high school, my mom would let us drive our huge full-size van.
We had one too.
Really?
Put a bed in the back?
Yes.
Oh, God, it was the best.
We even had a TV.
Oh,
It was-
fancy people.
It was just
Yeah.
all. It was
Fancy.
literally all static, but we felt really cool.
Yeah,
But so we
super
would.
Were those called the conversion vans?
Oh, yeah. It was amazing. We'd drive
Yeah.
from Pennsylvania
remember.
just to St. Louis.
Oh yeah. We did from
Oh,
Virginia
glorious.
to Iowa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like all carpet
Yeah.
and the whole thing, and like
Yeah.
this like soft velvet carpet.
Oh God.
Glorious.
Oh, and it was maroon.
I had a friend who had a turquoise one.
It was maroon and gold.
Whoa.
This is like
Ours
totally
is
90s.
blue and white.
Oh.
Penn State colors, just saying.
Oh yeah, nice.
yeah.
Of course.
So when we got to be teenagers, or
You had
my
some fun
mom-
times in that van.
hell yeah, girl.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Actually, not a ton.
Oh,
But like,
those were just my teenagers.
detour. But so my mom started letting us drive to church by ourselves, like when she would go to an earlier
Would
mass
you
or
actually
whatever.
go?
Oh, we would go.
Oh,
Yeah, me and my sisters, we would go. But you both are looking at me like, really?
yeah.
I'm not done with the story yet. So we would go, we would sit in the parking lot. And so in case anyone drove by, that we could say, yeah, the car's right there. obviously we were at the church, but we would just like listen to music and talk for an hour.
And like, church was great.
We would go in and grab the bulletin to get proof.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Well done.
Definitely.
Yeah, we thought it through, and then we'd come back.
Mom, wasn't that verse great?
And she's like,
oh, yeah, what was it?
She's like, what was
Mark
Mass
2nd?
about, girls? Yeah. And we were like, God. We thought, I was like, she can't say I'm wrong.
Right?
The details don't really matter,
That's right.
But she knew.
Yeah. Probably.
She knew.
So wait, I just have to say one thing about my current state.
Yeah. We got derailed.
I would say in general, I won't get, wrap this up quick here, but I would say today, so I did not baptize my kids, and we decided that like it would be, their dad and I, decided that. And it's been interesting to think about that now. But I think a lot about having an experience like you had mentioned, Aaron, where I would love to have my kids or to teach my kids like so many different, or get them exposed to a bunch of different ways that they could worship a higher power or have a spiritual life or spiritual community, and then have them make that decision when they're maybe a little bit more ready for it, And one of my kids has already made some really interesting connections with like the history of the world and wars that have been fought about religions.
Oh.
And we had talked about doing like a world map and then kind of placing like where there's major representation of different religion and then seeing like how that has worked in the world. But so I hope that
sounds like such an Amy thing.
Yeah.
Like amazing. I'm like, that's a great idea.
All color coded.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Laminated.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I look forward to, to some of that with my own kids. But I would say for me now, I haven't been a part of a religion for, many years, probably since I was really at my parents' house, 18. But the spirituality component has only gotten, it's just been a part of my life ever since. And again, I started at college in Portland, Oregon, and had tons of experiences with nature, super spiritual connection in nature. And that was kind of my path for a while. And then, some really rough spots happened. Actually, I think I mentioned the accident that my college boyfriend was in. And I was like, nope, God does not exist. Like this would not happen. If that, to good people, things like this wouldn't happen. And so then it was kind of like a low point of spirit. But then it's like, I think now as I've gotten older, the idea of just the universe or this higher power or, some spirit guide, I so firmly believe in, especially now I see it at work while I'm going through hard times rather than blaming it for a hard time. I see it really carrying me through. And so that's been a huge shift for me. And I only hope that my kids have that sense as well, And then the last thing I'll say, last week I was at a memorial service. Was that last week? That was this week.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay. So this week I was at a memorial service and it was in a beautiful Presbyterian church in Denver. I felt so peaceful sitting and waiting for the service to start. And I think there's something about the buildings of
absolutely
any kind of denomination, whatever that might be, or any kind of religion for that matter. But there's something about these spiritual buildings that I do think there's energy there that can really be good for people, or maybe really feel good, depending on, of course, your experience. But that's all I got on religion.
Great.
Peace. Just kidding. Oh, boy. That was a little bit longer of a conversation than I thought we were going to.
I thought we were just going to
touch on it.
Me too.
There's two things on the list that I want to talk about before we go. So what would you say to your younger self? So that part. And then the other part of that is that celebration of joy and leaning into that. So like sitting in success, and success, Maria talked about success equaling survival. And so I don't know where you all want to start with that, but those are the two things that I think I'd like to talk about before.
Totally.
The end.
I loved that. What would you say to your inner or to your younger self? Yeah. And I think what like her response was so good.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
So what did she say again?
Well, I don't know if you remember, but one thing I remember her saying was when she was meeting new people, she wanted to like meet them as their younger selves. And she wanted them to feel like, I'm here for you. You're safe with me. I accept you. And I will grow with you. That just feels
good in my body.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So good.
So good. But yeah, I would say for me.
Well, think about how different if we were talking to if we were talking to a little kid, people don't talk to, you talk to little kids so sweet and nice generally. And so if we did that.
kind of patronizing, if we're being honest.
Right. But if you're not patronizing, so maybe that's you, right? But if you.
No, I mean in general.
Right. But if you're talking or seeing kids, you're not going to be a dick to a little kid generally.
But I also think actually that if you're speaking to a kid with respect, you're not patronizing.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
A lot of kids, I think, are spoken to that way, but I don't think it's right, nor do I think it is necessary.
Yeah,
kids
I
can
completely
totally
agree.
talk to like a normal person.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. But I think that in speaking, and then if we talk to each other like that, to just talk to see those parts of people, then the world would be an entirely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be having road
place.
rage. That's for sure.
No. People wouldn't be such assholes.
Yeah, that's true.
But, that is what it is. So I would say, though, for my younger self, there were definitely some I don't know, traumas from my childhood, whatever. And I would say to my younger self, I would tell myself that you are lovable no matter what. And what you experience is real.
That's good. Anna, what you got?
I would say to my younger self, and I remembered what Maria said and how this came up, the me help me.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But let's see, I would say, so I struggled a lot with the anxiety and the shyness. And I would say, I see you, I hear you, I love you. You're right where you're supposed to be, and trust your gut.
That's really good.
Therapy shit's working.
Yeah.
So good. I would tell my younger self that I would probably work on teaching my younger self not to be so critical, because people would tell me oh, you're so hard on yourself. And I'm like, what? Stop saying that.
Yeah.
And that my worth is not tied to my productivity or what I because I can do things in the world, that doesn't make me good. I'm inherently just worthy.
Yeah.
So I would say, makes me emotional.
I know. Good deep breath.
Yeah, just that you're inherently worthy and to just chill out a little bit. Yeah.
We should make each other a sign or Post-it notes or a daily text that just says those things to each other.
Okay.
I gotta go back and write down what y'all said. I didn't take notes.
We'll review later, Anna.
Okay.
I'm oh shit. I totally.
It's a good nugget for the audience to think about.
Yeah.
What does your inner child need to hear?
Yeah.
From
what
you?
would you tell your younger self?
Right.
And then start saying that to your younger self and showing up for your younger self as the person you needed.
Oh, I have a good practical tip. Someone told me, actually back at the Bar 3 retreat, I tell you, my life has changed there. Yep. But they just take, and I did this daily for, I think it was a 30-day challenge, gratitude list challenge or something. But you take a whiteboard marker, you write anything on your mirror.
Oh, yeah.
And it just wipes right off.
Yeah.
So even what would you want to tell your younger self? Just take a whiteboard marker, write it on your mirror. Done. Don't even worry about a Post-it note.
That's a good idea.
Anyway. That's
don't even worry about your your podcast co-host texting you with it.
Exactly.
Because they already forgot.
Exactly. I'm just getting my whiteboard marker out.
Anna, you were supposed to send me a text today.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So celebration and joy. How do you lean into it? And do you? Is that easy, hard? Where are you with that?
Oh, gosh. I have a really
I'm
hard
not a
time
great
with
seguer
it.
like you.
Oh, that's so I think it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
It's if your inner child was feeling what you were telling them, then how much more likely would it be that you could celebrate
Yeah.
yourself and you could feel joy?
Right?
You know what I immediately think of is my little son and how I celebrate with him when he has successes. And it's like high fives and it's like, let's sit in it and it just making the eye contact and just saying like, I'm so proud of you. And like, maybe that's an idea. Like, I can't help but think like when I think about talking to my younger self or my little self and taking care of little Anna, you know, like how I do indeed talk to my son in the words that I tell him. And it's like, I can be the mom to my little self that I need to be. And I can also use that language as I'm parenting him to teach him how to do that currently, you know, so hopefully he doesn't have the issues or, you know, self-doubt that I have, but doing the best I can as far as like, here are words, here's how we can sit in this, here's how we can be proud of ourselves in the moment for what we're doing, you know?
I think that I'm working hard on being like generally as an adult more playful and like, and I have a friend that always is like, well, did you have fun? And I'm like, oh, fuck. I forget. And so like focusing on that it's not just about like doing, that there is time to celebrate what things are going well and also to have fun and being playful in those moments. I remember I had my dog, we were on the Oregon coast 2 years ago, and I remember it was the first time my dog could be off leash, and she was so stoked to be on the beach and like just like running, like, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that I had this part in me, which is good.
Yeah.
But I would say about the celebration thing, I think that those things in like everyday life are great. A thing that drives me crazy about our culture is that this whole everybody gets ribbon thing. And so like, cause I don't think that then it's like, someone can work super hard or like have really great performance or whatever, and then their thing is as equal to someone that merely stood on the field or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I think that part of celebration is not my favorite part of things, because then it kind of like cheapens the experience for something that you put work into or whatever.
I do have hope though that culturally we've seen the flaws of everybody getting a trophy and it is shifting.
Oh, yeah.
I do think that is shifting.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I should say I hope. But
yes,
the thing I would say about celebrating,
because you can acknowledge someone for like, hey, great job for being here, but not everyone like wins the grand prize. Yeah.
And also like, hey, you did a really good job. Like, and
you tried.
Yeah, you tried. There's value there. Whoa, another coffee cup down.
Hey.
Okay, here's what I would say about so I was in a relationship for a little over a decade. And I was always defined in the relationship as the person who like didn't really have fun. Like I was more of like the down to business type personality, where the other person was like, the super fun one and, you know, all the stuff. And it's been very eye-opening for me to get out of that relationship and like totally change that narrative.
Yeah.
I am fun. I have a lot of fun and I enjoy having fun. And I, you know, as you both know, I have gotten a trampoline in my backyard and I have a goal after seeing this shaman that I will jump on this trampoline with my kids daily. Every time that we're
I didn't
together.
know that was. That's great.
Yeah.
Fun.
And so, and the shaman was even like, even if it's for 2 minutes, you know, just jump. And I was just seeing my therapist recently, and she's like, you know, another reason why I love that trampoline is just because it brings that inner child out for you. And I have to say, it has been a game changer because no matter what, the kids and I, we have so much fun jumping on the trampoline.
Trampolines are so fun.
It's so fun. I love it.
That's so awesome.
It's just been a new way that I can identify that I'm having fun and I can be fun and like this is great.
And step into that.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a familiar part. And so like then it's like
totally
owning that again. Yeah.
So that's been just really fun. Like I'm really grateful for it. So, and then as far as like celebrating, I'm going through this situation where I'm like looking at some potential contract work or whatever. And this person is excited about working with me. And I find myself being like, like a little bit, you know, self-doubt is creeping in. And I think just the ability to accept that maybe this doesn't really have anything to do with celebration now that I'm thinking about it, but I find it hard to celebrate myself.
Right.
Or like celebrate my own accomplishments. You know, people will say like, wow, you've accomplished so much in the last few months. Like it's pretty remarkable. And I'm kind of like, but there's so much more to do.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me to not just always be pushing.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
I hear you on that. Yeah.
But it sure is fun to be here podcasting.
It sure
It
is. I think
is.
this actually, like, in a lot of ways, is like a good, fun outlet for myself.
Yes.
Like, it's
It's
like
super
it's
fun.
just like
Totally.
just to be ridiculous and
Yeah.
Talking into these microphones.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's so
well, and
fun.
like our goal with this when we started was just to have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And to bring our coffee shop
Yeah.
chats to other people.
Yeah.
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 It is. It is super fun. It's
And I
such a
think
great
also
outlet.
too, when you have good connections with people, I think that just naturally brings out fun and playful
Yeah.
energy generally because
Yeah.
you feel it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then the fact that we do dance before every episode
Mhm.
adds to that
Biggie.
fun. Right?
right.
It's good stuff.
If you want to join in the fun, you can listen to "Hypnotized" by Biggie Smalls.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we
No,
should just
no.
like put a link directly.
Oh, you know what? We can make a playlist.
Oh, good idea.
Damn,
A
man,
Spotify
that's a good
playlist.
idea.
Will you make it? All of our pump up songs?
Oh yeah, I love
That's a
that.
great
Yeah.
idea.
Yes, and we'll share it.
Yes.
Yeah, because you know the other song that we talked about in the home episode was that song
Yes.
"Home."
Yeah, that's a great
Oh,
way
So
to
we
like
can
share
add
it.
that too,
Oh.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, that'd be really
Man,
fun.
Freaking
Yes.
That'd be
hashtag
really fun.
genius.
Yeah.
We're freaking smart.
Oh,
We're
boy.
freaking smart
That's
up in
right.
here, yo.
Well, that brings us to the top of the hour.
Yep. Here we are.
That's about it, ladies.
Yeah.
It's been a fun one.
It has been.
It's been a
We've
big one.
had fun.
It has
been a big one.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to give a huge shout out to Maria Seal because,
Clapping corner.
clapping hands here. It was a great interview and obviously gave us a lot to talk about
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And we're just super excited to support you. So,
Yep.
And so for
Well
the
said.
awareness nugget,
oh yeah.
so make a note to your younger self.
What would you say?
What would you say to your younger self?
What loving words would you say to your younger
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
self? Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
Have a good one, everybody.
See you
We'll be back
next
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
We have a great new way for you to support the show. If you love what we're doing, go hit up the Less Alone podcast swag shop. We got so much awesome stuff. All the proceeds go to supporting the show so we can create more awesome content for you. So what stuff did you guys get?
I got the black sweatshirt and the green trucker hat.
I got a
freaking
white
cute.
hoodie and a coffee cup.
Oh, yeah. I got the hat and a shirt. It's so cute. So go there, lessalonepodcast.com, hit swag shop, and get yourself hooked up.
Take a picture and tag us on Instagram or any other social media, and we'll
We'll repost it.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. You can find more about this episode and a way to connect to the community at lessalonepodcast.com. And if you like us, don't forget to subscribe and be sure to leave a review. It helps other people find us and could be just what they need.